this review is not going to be neither usual nor useful one. There will be no film cameras and history. What I got here today is Russian Army action camera with an unbearable cost of $30 and average rating of 3.8. When I found out that this product exists, my emotions were indescribable. I kept thinking of it for days and days, and finally I decided I cannot live without it anymore. We'll start from listing the advantages. Firstly, this camera is obviously invisible, as it is camouflaged and blends well into most of natural environments. Sadly, I am not so invisible, so for this video I decided to prepare a special tactical outfit. That's much better. If we are discussing the looks, I also enjoy the loading screen. Concrete, minimalistic, though frustratingly not so stealth. Secondly, this camera can be used as a webcam, and it's quite easy to imagine a scenario for using it.
Hello, my fellow Gotham villains. Let's finally discuss our important evil stuff.
Vlad, what's happening? Where are you streaming from?
Oh, I'm hiding from the Batman in the forest. Isn't it obvious?
Oh, okay. Are you sure it won't find you here?
Of course I am. All I wear is camouflage. I'm practically invisible. Even my camera is camouflaged.
Well, let's proceed then.
Thirdly, this camera offers a great image stabilization, if you put it on a gimbal, of course. Otherwise, the footage will be shaky, and we'll definitely test this later. And fourthly, it shares one great feature with the top of Canon mirrorless cameras. It overheats and stops recording approximately after 3 minutes. So it basically has an auto turn-off, which is a great feature for action camera. You know, general users of action cameras usually do some crazy sports tricks. And people who do crazy sports tricks are usually known for dying in hard-to-reach places. So, after you die from another stunt, your SD card won't fill to the top and run fun for those who are trying to investigate the moment of your death. So let's test this camera at sports. There are 3 things I do reasonably well. These are riding a road bike, swimming and playing chess. We'll test it within all 3 categories. Unfortunately, road cycling is one of the most boring sports for spectators. Everyone knows that the Tour de France and other big-budget European races are watched solely to gaze at the beautiful views of mountains and all European cities. I don't have those, so here is my quick test. It is raining heavily, so the camera is in the waterproof case and you can see some reflections of it at the corners of the frame. I love swimming, but with the current weather it's literally unsafe for health, so I'll be doing it kinda at home. Also, the instructions say that the box is safe to keep underwater for only 30 seconds, which I find quite strange. At this footage you can see that this camera is not what can be called a good low-light performer. Still, the case held the water away from the camera quite well. You know, there is a stereotype that chess is physically undemanding. But did you know that grandmasters lose a lot of calories during a tournament day? Some say that the number is 6,000, but I highly doubt that. Seems too impossible. Anyway, chess is extremely stressful and, as we know, brain requires a lot of resources to work well, so most elite-level grandmasters are very fit and are constantly improving their physical shape. So for the opening of this game I chose Vienna Gambit, and it crumbled very fast for my opponent, as he is clearly not very familiar with main concepts of King's Gambit types of positions. Anyway, the mate is on the board, but because the proclaimed 4K resolution of this camera is clearly fake, it's like upscaled 480p, you can't see much of the board clearly. After I understood that this camera isn't so great with sports after all, I was flabbergasted and destroyed. But then I realized something. This isn't a sport camera. This is an army camera, so it might be best to perform not typical sport things, but typical army things. With that clever thought in mind, I got down to business. Okay, let's be serious a bit. There are some cool things with this camera. Jokes aside, it comes with a lot of extra stuff, fasteners, mounts, boxes, from the factory. Probably for that price you can keep them and throw out the camera. The factory casing is also wonderful. Its sensor is definitely not 4K, but its resolution is enough for $30. You actually can film something if you are on a very tight budget. Though it might be cheaper and easier to just tape a smartphone to your face. Battery is extremely short, there is practically no image stabilization, the camera is also fragile. I pressed at the screen too hard within the first day of usage and it left a bunch of dead pixels on the screen. Of course, nothing, apart from its name and color, connects it with the Russian army. It's a cheap Chinese action cam. It would be okay as a dashcam or a webcam, as it's cheaper than most of them. Or as a camera you are not afraid of breaking. I know that action cameras are kind of dead as an industry now, and I'm not really sure that's a bad thing. This monstrosity goes to my museum shelf. If you have something to say about all of that, don't hesitate and write a comment on this video. I'm answering everyone and I bid you farewell.